Now it's businessman and Save SA founder, Sipho Pityana. Mr. Pityana, always a pleasure having you. Thanks for joining us. What's your reaction to overnight developments?
Leanne, good morning to you and your viewers. Certainly, no one wishes a prison for their worst enemies, but indeed, it's a great day for our constitutional democracy. We can all be satisfied that this development suggests that the Constitution has won, the rule of law has prevailed, and that we can sleep peacefully at night. It certainly is a very strong message, even more so, for those who are trying to ensure that this date never comes, because they had a vested interest to ensure that they never had an occasion to be taken through our courts and be convicted. We mustn't be must be reminded, though, that this is only about a contempt of court, and it is not about accountability for the many crimes that the former president has been accused of.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you've been exceptionally vocal about the former president, Jacob Zuma's, his, role and allegations of state capture and corruption. When we look at the rule of law here in South Africa, I mean, what does this do for you? I mean, in terms of the confidence that one can now place in, firstly, the judiciary and certainly the rule of law, as I mentioned.
Well, Leanne, this is an affirmation of everything that we fought for the liberation of this country. When you hear people like Carl Niehaus invoke how much they were incarcerated, imprisoned, exiled, you would be forgiven for imagining that they were the only ones and all of us were bystanders and we didn't suffer similarly. It's nauseating and irritating. We chose a country governed by a rule of law where nobody is above the law, regardless of their contribution to the struggle. We chose a society of values where the poor and their lot will be attended to and not have the coffers of the state wide open for masquerading thieves who claim liberation credentials to loot at will without any accountability. It's not acceptable. So it is important that we support the rule of law, if not for anything else, to protect the interests of ordinary poor citizens who have no means to fight back if the state, the law, the constitution doesn't protect them. This is what this represents. It is about a constitutional order that commits itself to an equitable society, saying that the resources such as we have, limited as they are, must be used to advance the interests of the poor. Every school that had been dedicated to be built, that is today built at 3 times the cost, because masquerading thieves are there to take as much money and resources as possible. Hospitals, money intended for welfare and all of that. This is what this battle is about. This is the battle about ensuring that our commitment to ensuring a better life for all is pursued undisturbed by those who are committed to corruption and thieving.
Yeah. Let's just get a final word from you on where this actually leaves the ANC now. You, of course, a member of the party, and I mean, you have been vocal about, all of the wrongs that have been committed. But let's talk to, I mean, we've seen events unfolding over the weekend. We've seen the support that former President Jacob Zuma has. Then, of course, the threats of bloodshed, which thankfully did not result. But the reality is that it highlighted the splits within the party. Where does this leave the ANC now?
Well, as interestingly, Leanne, I've been in the recent debates that have been raging in the ANC. One's pride in being associated with this once great organization has been revived, in that there's been a very difficult conversation to draw the line between those who are committed to acts of corruption and undermining the great name of this organization, and those who are committed to upholding its values. The step-aside rule and the fantastic statement that the ANC issued this week, as did the Communist Party, by the way, that the rule of law must prevail, we're a constitutional order, and that nobody is above the law. It marks a departure from populist rant that we had previously, which sought to provide political cover to those who were about being lawless and undermining the constitution. It's such refreshing leadership that you hear the ANC make clear that government must act within the law, mustn't undermine the decisions of the courts. And it's interesting also that no structure of the ANC, formal structure of the ANC, or indeed that of any of the alliance partners, has taken side with Jacob Zuma this time around. He stood isolated with a few rogues like Karl Niehaus who were out there. Indeed, it is encouraging. So one hopes that the overwhelming stand of the ANC and the alliance, certainly in support of the constitution for the rule of law, will see the rogues that had draped themselves in the colors of the liberation movement isolated and booted out of this great, once great organization, so that it can reclaim its credentials.
You speak of few rogues. Well, we did see the suspended SG of the ANC, Ace Magashule. Are you implying that he's also a rogue? Are you calling him a rogue member of the ANC?
He is without a doubt one of the rogues who has been cultivating a culture of lawlessness, unprincipled, unscrupulous behavior that has nothing to do with the values of this organization. His behavior in the Free State and running rampage and causing all manner of corrupt activities that, like in some other provinces, have crippled local government and other institutions of the state. He must be held to account, and he must answer for his crimes, and mustn't use the ANC to hide behind all of his misbehavior. It's time that people must understand that they can't steal great traditions, great efforts of people who fought, died, and sacrificed. Some people fought and lost their lives. They were never banned, imprisoned, but they are heroes that are unsung. And we must honor their contribution to the liberation of this country, and not allow our country to be stolen by people who are insisting on their style of leadership and values that have nothing to do with anything that we fought for.
All right. Well, that pretty much sums it up for us. We leave it there for this morning. Businessman and Save SA founder Sipho Pityana giving us his reaction to the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma.